Yeah, I did a long video and everything talking about the whole Mecha Sally arc, and I do apologize for the sound here. I'm doing the dishes before my mom gets here. Uh, but I talked about it, and I still kind of stand by what I said. I just don't think it was probably the best, storyline that they would have done for the character, honestly. I mean, when you think about it, they could have done a lot better. I mean, the thing is, like I said, I still stand by the idea that they didn't have to go too long. All they had to do was like 6 issues at most, maybe 8 well, 6 issues at best, 8 at most, and that was it. They didn't have to drag it on for so long, but I think the reason being is, like I've said and others have pointed out, and I think Ian Flynn would even admit it himself, he wanted to have his own magnum opus. He wanted to have his own kind of endgame-like story. But here's the problem. He already had something like that similarly when he did the Iron Dominion arc. It was new, it was different. He even had something similar when he did the 175 to 177 arc. So again, I get why he did it. It's just, to me, it wasn't the best laid plan, honestly. And look, I don't blame him for not knowing, hey, there was going to be lawsuits and everything. If that's true that he didn't know, I mean, he should have known. But still, I don't blame him for, for for not probably realizing that. But again, I still think he knew. I think he knew something. But, he's not going to say. He can't really say because maybe he signed an NDA or agreed to an NDA, and he can't really say anything. I don't know. I don't really know, but I do know that basically to me, it just wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good fit overall for the story or for the character, and that's a fact in my opinion. That's a fact. It wasn't a good fit for the character and everything, whatsoever. And you died. Oh no, it didn't die. Just, the picture went off. I thought my battery died. I do apologize. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it was a good idea. I don't think it was a good idea whatsoever. I mean, you want to do something like that, that's fine. But don't drag it out for so long that people are going to get bored and nauseous with it. I mean, people got bored and nauseous when it came to the whole Metal Virus arc. And that's a fact. People got bored and nauseous with that. Because it was, getting repetitive. It's like, okay, we get it. Every now and then you're going to contaminate a major character. Okay, we get it. But, they didn't, I guess you could say he didn't realize what he was repeating he was basically making the same mistakes. So to me, again, I get why he did it. He wanted to create his own magnum opus. Same with, the same with basically the Metal Virus arc. But still, it's like, you could have planned it out better. Like you had elements in there that were good, but they weren't good enough, and you could have done better. And that, in my opinion, is what hurt him the most with the story. It really did. I mean, and again, it just wasn't. It just felt like all you did was tease us with bringing Sonic and Sally back together, and then when you eventually do, you decide 8 issues later you're going to destroy it, you're going to break it apart, and then when you decide, hey, I'm going to, not have them in a relationship whatsoever, soft reboot or not, it's like, why even bother doing it? It's like, why even bother doing it? I mean, a lot of fans would be like, well, if that's the case, you might as well have to stay with Monkey Con, if that's what was going to happen. But, he didn't. He didn't. He basically decided, oh, I'm going to tease you, I'm going to do this. And in the end, he just pissed off a lot of fans. That's all he did. So hopefully after this, and hopefully after Metal Virus, which again pretty much got the same reaction, he's learned his lesson. And that lesson basically is, if you're going to stretch stories out, don't stretch them out to be, so long that that people, look at them as you trying to attempt to have your own magnum opus, your own end game. Just make them limited to the point that, hey, you get to the point you get from point A to point B to point C, and then that's it. And you don't need to drag it out for so long to do that. You could do that within the span of 6 issues or 8 issues at most. You know, and he's got to realize, you know, that I checked the time here. He's got to realize this is not an event. This is not like Marvel or DC, you know, where they do the event comics, because they have plenty of other comic spin-offs of the main titles to work off of. You know, they could start, you know, a multi-part story of Batman in the main Batman comic, and then continue it in the spin-offs like Nightwing and Robin and Batgirl. They could do that. They have the ability to do that. Same with Marvel. They could start off in the main Spider-Man book and continue in Spectacular Spider-Man or Spider-Man Unlimited, and you know, and so on and so forth. Spider-Gwen, you know, they could do that because they have the abilities. They have the books to do it. You know, if you're limited to only one book, maybe two at most, don't do it. Just focus on just focus on the main issues of the story and go from there. And that's it. That's pretty much it, in my opinion. But again, I think he just wanted to have his own magnum opus, and he wanted to have his own event like story. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I see it. But again, maybe I'm wrong about it, but I don't think I am. And a lot of fans feel the same way. And I think a lot of fans could see exactly where I'm coming from when I say that. But what do you guys think? Do you think maybe he's learned his lesson and we're not going to see any more of these long-term comics or story arcs? Like, you know, like Mecha Sally and Metal Virus? What are your thoughts? Or do you think he was trying to create his own event-like comic, you know, within a span of one comic, if not two, when he was at Archie? And do you think he was trying to create his own equivalent, if not, you know, his own equivalent to Endgame? What are your thoughts? You know, let me know down below. Comment if you like. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. But again, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. You know, how did you feel about it? Let me know. And until then, I'll talk to you later.